in everyday life entertainment behaviors that helped the people decide collectively what they wanted to become, both in terms of their individual identities and in terms of their collective identities. How did they want to organize themselves? What kind of behaviors did they value? Uh, and and so part of the idea of the forming of the national or international divination system is to experience this new kind of coherence and to embody it in a way that makes it practical and applicable. And the way tourism comes into this specifically is to take up the history we talked about before with Mount Rushmore and Miss America and other kinds of ceremonies, to say that one of the ways that Americans specifically can begin to define their future was by defining new kinds of tourist sites that become symbolic. They carry the values of the symbolically of whatever the new collectivity is going to be. That is, you can make your own identity structures through the symbols that you participate in, that you visit, that you revere, that you carry souvenirs around of, and those kinds of things. We can see this already happening, that the vitality and dynamism of monumentality is very much alive, as proven by maybe more traditional kinds of monuments like the Vietnam Wall, which is a vital, perhaps one of the most significant monuments that we've ever had in America since Mount Rushmore, and a great attraction for people who come to what is, after all, in Washington, D.C., one of the most intensely monumental sites probably ever since whatever the Valley of the Kings in ancient Egypt. Intensely monumentalized and memorialized place. But there's a new kind of monument that's maybe not quite the same, that's maybe moving in the direction of electorate monumentality, and that is the AIDS quilt, or the Names Project quilt, which is mobile. Actually, you might have seen recently that the original quilt, which is up to something like 50,000 individual pieces, squares or whatever, units, has been moved to Atlanta. It's been moved to Atlanta to mark and commemorate the fact that the AIDS epidemic is spreading most rapidly now through African American communities in the South, as opposed to previous communities of gay and drug users. And so it's a mobile, individually constructed group phenomenon with a certain kind of ritual, very powerful, showing the power of a monument to change the values and to affect the behavior of the community. So that the Names Project is a very good example of the potential of monumentality. So what I would suggest to people that want to work with choreography would be that they would take the zone that interested them, that was part of their region, that was part of their community, and they would look to define its monumental potential. Is there something here that we can memorialize and that we can embody in a symbolic formation that can carry a value, that can represent for people a kind of goal, as we say, a value that would be reflective of the new kind of community that would support and maintain a kind of belonging, an experience of belonging, the way in which the Vietnam Wall, Mount Rushmore, the Miss America pageant, flag ceremonies, and these kinds of things have performed in the past for America. Now, what that would be, of course, remains to be seen. Does it have to be a conventional statue? No, I would think not. The experiments that we've done actually are the fact that we would make virtual monuments. Call this a memorial related to the Maestri. A virtual monument begins with the connection between an existing memorial, such as the Vietnam Wall, or Mount Rushmore. Doesn't, whichever existing monument is important, which conveys the kind of meaning that one is interested in. But the most important thing about existing monuments is that they're already acknowledged in the public sphere as representing a value that the community believes in. then the way to extend this monumentality, the way to extend this public or national identity, is to look around for parts of experience that aren't yet monumentalized. I mean, this is the brilliance of the AIDS quilt. It took a part of experience, which is essentially gay life, which was actually, in terms of the mainstream values, denigrated, abused, even repulsive within the Christian community and so on. It took that negative behavior, it took that negative identity structure and transformed it into a value, transformed it into something honorable, something respected, so that the death of gays from and anyone else from AIDS, persons with AIDS, was turned into a sacrifice on behalf of a national value of freedom and of tolerance. And that was an amazing feat in a very short time to have achieved. And well, similarly, the experiments we've conducted with memorials is to take other kinds of conditions that currently are considered to be one at a time losses, automobile accidents, pet euthanasia, child abuse, children killed by their parents, various kinds of community problems such as that are considered anomalous. And as I said, one at a time in the private sphere, losses, to be regretted, to be mourned, but certainly not a sacrifice on behalf of a national value. And the way a memorial works is to say, well, let's maybe reconsider that behavior in terms of a sacrifice. Those children, those pets, those accident victims, if you like, those cigarette smokers, those gun victims, you could go on, list could go on, or even you could talk about the billions of dollars wasted in fuel costs for people sitting in traffic jams every year, the 98,000 people who die every year from being taken to the wrong hospital or whatever. There's all these amazing statistics that are just considered one at a time private losses. And what a memorial does is it reconfigures, resituates those losses in terms of a sacrifice on behalf of a national value and connects them with an existing memorial or monument to bring out, through this juxtaposition, this phenomenon of sacrifice. Now, it might be that we would say, well, wait a minute, we don't want to memorialize child abuse. Do we? I mean, but no, we have to think about what value is being memorialized there. Why is child abuse tolerated in this country? Why is it possible for a parent to kill his or her child? Well, it's possible because we believe in freedom, because we believe in every parent being able to, you're in the hospital 2 or 3 days, they hand you their kid. You don't have to have a PhD, you don't have to have a license, you don't have to be a professional. Here you are, you're a parent, here's your kid. You can kill it. If you do, we're going to come and get you. Please don't, but it's your choice. And so we say, well, maybe that's a value, that maybe we should memorialize that. And these kids, however many thousand die every year, they should be memorialized as a loss on behalf of a value. Then if we don't like that value, let's change it. Once we see it as a collective behavior that we're committed to, if that's not us, if we look at that and we don't recognize it, or we abject that value, then fine, then we begin to change our behavior. This would be the emergency. This would be the way that the new consultancy would work. It isn't that we already know what the answer to child abuse is. In fact, as far as we understand it, Instrumental Reason has done everything it can to prevent child abuse. But there's a lot more at stake. There's many more things that are involved. We just have to look at the gun debate. Should gun manufacturers be held responsible for manufacturing a